So when I made that leap, I knew I had to take that leap of faith, like you said, to be, able to truly feel free. They made sure they pounded how the customer is who needs to be our voice. We can say Voda, Voda, Voda all day, but if we don't treat this customer right and do the perfected job that we promised them we would, then they're not going to scream to our graces. One thing that I have been good at, thank God, my mom taught me that, shout out mom. She said, and I wake up and I'm like, let's go be great. Let's do it. So I say a little prayer and that's it. I'm ready to go. And I know as long as I keep that energy from this point all the way to my chapter 9, then I'm going to excel. But I also know I'm going to help people in their chapter 1s and their chapter 2s come up here too. Like, look, this is how I did it, y'all. You're regular just like I am. You can do it.
Welcome to the Zero to Profitable Franchise Podcast, the best place for you to come to figure out the right franchise to buy and how to get and stay profitable. My name is Tarek Johnson, and I've bought, grown, and sold multiple franchises and got myself free from corporate America, and now I'm on a mission to help you do that too. Here you'll find some of the most in-depth profitable franchise secrets, tangible strategies, and specific mindsets to help you create your dream life through franchising. All right, everyone, welcome to another podcast episode. I'm here with Mr. Farris. Welcome, man. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, I appreciate it. I really appreciate this invite. I've been watching you for a long time now. I was like, we got a long-standing relationship after I just started to click on YouTube and say, who's this guy? He had that distinctive voice, and I was like, okay, he's making sense. Tell me more. And, when you sent me that invite, it kind of felt like a full circle, like, oh, he noticed me. Because, when you see somebody on the internet, you always like, oh, I want to meet them one day. I want to talk to them one day. I said that. And I was like, when you sent out the invite, like, hey, I want to talk to you on video, I was ecstatic. I was like, let's do it. Absolutely. Because you have been a critical part in helping me get to this point. So, man, I would do this 500 times over if you asked.
Man, I appreciate it, and it's it's so cool just to hear that, right? Like the fact that it's a full circle moment. I think it's so awesome. The fact that can happen, and a testament to you and the progress that you've made, over the journey of making this decision, doing your homework, and now here you are as an entrepreneur, business owner. You took the leap. You're all in. So let's start with that, Farris, which is, tell us about the business that you're in, and just a little kind of 30, 60 second on who you are and, what you're doing now.
Absolutely. Well, as he told you, my name is Farris, and I've been in the business world for 20 something years. So I did banking. I did financing for doctors. I helped franchises get and start their dream. So kind of how my journey started here is I moved down to Tampa. I was offered a new job in Tampa. They wanted me to be a part of a new department they were starting, which they were working with the SBA on lending to franchise owners, people that want to start up their own franchise, buy a new truck or whatever it takes to have their own business. So I was there for, I just left them after 4 years, but the things I learned being able to look at the financials and talk to people that was in different franchises. I started to look at different franchises and what they were doing and everything, that they were getting out of it. And talking to the people, I heard their happiness of being free. You feel a sense of freedom, of course, not just, as in a locked up type of thing. It's hey, I'm being able to spread my wings and do something for myself, and I don't have to wait for another person to tell me to go or stop or, in between. So when I made that leap, I knew I had to, take that leap of faith, like you said, to be, able to truly feel free. Right now, after talking to all these different franchises, I chose Voda. Voda is a cleaning and restoration company, so they handle carpets. We do mold. We, of course, do water mitigation, everything, vent cleaning, towels. I'm in a business right now. I'm about to talk to them after this podcast to see if they need their floors done. So we do a little bit of everything. And I chose them mainly because I could tell they had a passion to not only, start this, but grow it into something special. And I seen their vision, shout out to Dan Clapp, Zach Nolte, and everybody over at the Voda team who, kind of poured into me and made me feel welcome. And I still, to this day, even after I just left training last week, I even more feel like a piece of the family, and I want to spread this joy to everybody. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and I'm in a cigar bar drinking water. It's business ownership life. It's beautiful. I should be in a meeting right now. If I go by the everyday schedule, I should be in a meeting right now. But no, I am being able to be on a podcast talking to Targ, the man, and sitting in my favorite spot, Ybor City. I love Ybor City. So that's my story. I hope that's enough.
That's awesome. And what a year ago, because you were in banking, right? So a year ago, you would have been in a shirt and tie in a bank branch, right?
Office, cubicle, absolutely. Just, being given your instructions every day. Meeting at 2, that could have been an email. Meeting at 3, that could have been an email. Hey, have you done anything? No, because I've been in meetings all day. So, that's what I would have been doing. And, it was good. I enjoyed my job to the point I was able to communicate with other people and talk to a different person every day about their dreams. I like that. But the corporate part of it, just like a lot of people who start franchises, it's that corporate role, being in that box, not being able to get past that ceiling that they set for you. You can read, you can study, you can take as many tests as you want, but if they have a ceiling for you, you're not going to break through it. With a franchise, you have that ability to be able to rely on yourself to set your own ceiling, set your own height. So they absolutely know. So that you can do it and your dreams can come true.
Man, I love it. Well, so well said. So where are you in your journey of your business right now? Like where I mean, I know, but the audience doesn't know. So where are you in the journey?
I am glad you asked that. I'm in the best part of the journey, the beginning. So we just, me and my new operations manager, and my wife, we flew out to Wisconsin, which Voda, that's their headquarters in Wisconsin, Madison, very cold. I wish they would move to LA, but that's a whole nother thing. I'm going to impact them and then try to figure that out. So we was in Wisconsin and we went to training. Training was amazing. I mean, they poured into us everything. They made sure we knew every step of the process from when we knock on that door to when we get payment. They made sure they pounded how the customer is who needs to be our voice. We can say Voda, Voda, Voda all day, but if we don't treat this customer right and do the perfected job that we promised them we would, then they're not going to scream to our graces. They're going to give us bad reviews. And, I like how we're so customer driven and Voda is just zeroed in on wanting to be perfect, not to the sense of doing everything right, but taking it to a new level of what other companies weren't doing. Giving different formulas, and we're giving different solutions to get up those spots and those things that other people couldn't get up. The sciences they use, the people they've hired to be in this company are just from other different companies. And they all have brought their expertise in and say, let's do it this way. Let's do it that way. And everybody in Voda has bought in. So that's an amazing feeling to know I could pick up the phone and call my success coach today, and he'll be ready to help me out with whatever I need. And there has not been a time he hasn't answered. And that's where I'm at right now. So I just got out of training. This is my first week of really being in business. I haven't got my van yet. The van, and of course, the mount of the van is the essential. That got done today. It's completely wrapped. It's Voda blue. It's beautiful. They sent me a picture. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm ready to go clean something right now. So I'm actually going to pick it up tomorrow. Me and my ops manager, we're ready to hit the ground running. And I was kind of talking about it earlier that, one thing I want to do as my first act. Of course, everybody wants to make money and everybody wants to be profitable right out the gate. But my first act was to give back. I now have the opportunity to give back to other people, in a different way than I was doing before. So I was kind of talking to you about this earlier, Targ, but, I was talking to a pastor today, and we were just having a conversation, and I asked him how everything was going. I asked him about his carpets and sanctuary. He said, I don't know, my chairs haven't been cleaned in at least 5 years. And then I talked to his maintenance guy. He said, yeah, it's been a while. Okay, sir, don't worry about that. Well, I am in charge of my company. I'm going to come and do it for free for you, because I need your sanctuary to be pristine. Because he told me he had a wedding on Saturday and then service on Sunday. I'm going on Friday, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it hits the dry standard, make sure it's pristine for that wedding. And that's just not, of course, I'm going to want reviews. I hope they review and give me something positive. But that's just something that I need to do. I want to make this world cleaner, and I want to be the person that doesn't always have to give. You don't have to give me that dollar all the time for me to give you my service. I want to be a part of making other people greater. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I want to make a little money. No, I mean, everybody has their financial goals, of course. But the person I am is very much first, a give back person. And, that's kind of where I'm at in this process.
So our team have looked into a few hundred franchises and put together a list of 5 low-cost franchises that all make $1 million or more and that have a proven track record of both happy and profitable franchisees. So if you have a net worth of at least $150,000 and you want to see if the territory that you want is still available for any of these franchises, then you can go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. All right, let's get back to the episode. Yeah, that's awesome, man. There's that that saying, givers gain. And obviously, being in the faith-based community, it's a very powerful principle as well, and giving back and helping, and it's most powerful when done authentically and not trying to get anything in return. And yeah, I think it's just super powerful that you're doing that, and that's how you're getting started, because I think we both know that blessings will come out of it, but that's not why you did it. You just did it because you're a good human, and you care about people. And I think that's one of the things that I get from you. Not everyone that we work with has kind of the dynamic personality that you have, right? Some people are maybe a little bit more operationally driven, maybe more introverted. I think it's definitely an advantage that you'll have going into this business, right? Is that you have zero fear of talking to anyone. You're a life of the party kind of guy. And in the type of business that you're in a business development kind of business, right? Although operations is important too.
Operations is key. Yep.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You talked about how you brought your operations manager out to training with you. So you paid, you're paying for his salary, hourly, whatever it is, paid for his travel to get out there. But let's rewind for a second. How did you find him, hire him? What was your process, and how did you know that he was your guy?
A little bit of luck, a little bit of blessings, and I went through a lot of people. So of course, Voda gives you the playbook. They break down everything from the questions that you should ask in the interview to what you should look for, type of personality, things like that. I can tell you one thing I used was from your playbook. I mean, you was the one who started and gave me the playbook, and you linked me up with your team, and they also helped me how to recognize and hire. What type of person I'm looking for. I need to have somebody that fits inside my company goals. I want a type of person that has integrity and it matches my integrity. You don't have to be my best friend, but I want you to believe in the things that I believe in, because that's going to make it work. So I had a lot of questions that I went through and did the Voda questions, but I also had some of my own just to kind of see who they were, where they were, and what they were thinking. I asked this gentleman, I believe I asked him, who are you? I'm looking at this piece of paper or the resume. I'm looking at this and I see all these amazing things about you, but I need you to tell me who you are outside this piece of paper. A lot of people got stumbled on that. Like, why don't, I work with, no, I don't need to know about your work. I need to know what kind of person you are and what do you love. And so the guy I hired, he was proud to say, look, I'm a geek. He's like, I play, I build Legos. I like anime, things like that. But I'm also passionate about growing into the business that I fell in love with 7 years ago. So he came from another company. He was I think he was the project manager and things like that. He didn't have all the qualifications that were needed, but he still had the integrity and he had the answers and he had the spirit and the willingness to grow. I could see, and he wanted to build that with me. Other people I talked to, I met a lot of real good people, a lot of real good guys and women. Some had more qualifications, but of course they didn't fit into the scheme of what I wanted to build, and he did. So, I talked to him, after I got it down to like 3, I did it American Idol style, like, okay, it's going to be a no for me, dog. And I just kind of, went from my top 10 and my top five, and then I got down to top three. So it was a process. But when it got to that top three, I had my wife, shout out Nicole, I love you. I have my wife, of course, vet them and look over them, give me her opinion. But, then I came behind and did a video call. And then she told me her advice. I mean, and then I took it seriously. Like, what do you not like about this person? And a women's intuition is gold. So, yes, okay, I agree with that sentiment. So it was both of us tag teaming that. And it made, we both zeroed in on these three people. And then I sent these three people to my success coach to look over. I sent their resume. Of course, they can't tell me who to hire. It's my business. But he still was able to look over the resumes and gave me here's why, or here's why I would. Those matched up, and I just took those answers with everything else, and it came down to that one person. And it's been a great hire thus far. His spirit, his goals, what he wants to do has been phenomenal, and we haven't even picked up a broom yet. So, I think I'm okay with my hire. Time always tells, but I really like this young man. And Darrell, you're gonna be the man. You're gonna watch this. You ain't say I give you a shout out. So Darrell, we're gonna do big things, buddy.
I love it. I love how process driven you were, but also infusing it with your blind spots, right? And that's a lot of entrepreneurship is you don't have to be the best at everything. You hire for your weakness and you play your strength, and I love that you even did that in the hiring process, just saying, okay, great, I'm good at understanding the human, but I want to make sure and leveraging all the resources, the personality profile, the this, the that with Voda. So that's pretty awesome. Um, how did you? I'm curious, Farris. Well, actually, let's talk about funding. Everyone wants to know about funding, and I know you are very experienced in that world. I asked, I put it out on YouTube and told people that they could send me questions, and that I was, doing some podcasts with some of our clients. And so, how did you wind up funding your franchise, and why did you decide to choose the funding path that you did?
So yes, I did it the unconventional way. This is also me going through days, years, months of being on YouTube and looking at different ways. I know I didn't have a lot of money. We were okay. We were comfortable as a family, but like a lot of people think, I didn't have franchise money. I can't just buy a business. Until I started to look into the different options, and then also working at the bank, I was able to see the processes of SBA, not only just the SBA itself, but the different factors of SBA. You can go with an express loan. You can go with a 7A loan. You can go with a 504. And there's all different loans that you can get that tailor to your specific needs. I decided to go a different route because one thing that I have been good at, thank God, my mom taught me that. Shout out, mom. She said, always save your money, put it aside. You never know when you're going to need it. So I had a job, jobs back in the past, and I always rolled over my 401k. I never took it out, spent it. And this is even in my 20s. And then, when I left my job before the bank, it was with AT&T. I'm still with them as personal, so I can shout them out. I left them, but of course, I rolled over my 401k, which is a significant amount because I was with them for 15 years. I used that. So I had my own personal Roth IRA account that I was able to convert into a Schedule C business, and to be able to use my 401k that I had saved to fund the business without any tax
So you
penalties
did the Roth.
because I did the ROBS program. Yes. So the ROBS program, for those who don't know, you can use your tax money without penalty. And basically, my 401k has become my partner in my business until I can pay it off and pay him back and tell him to get away, and I can fund it on my own. So that's the route I went.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's become a real popular route for people, and just making the process a little bit simple. I mean, there's still a lot of people that will do SBA. I mean, we've had clients do every single funding avenue that you can think of, but yeah, there are people out there that they have no idea that, oh wow, I have 100, 200, $300,000 in an old 401k, and I thought I'd have to take it out and be taxed and penalized, but what, I can I can transfer the money into this structure and fund my business. I had no idea that was even a thing. So that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. Um, tell tell me about tell me about the journey and process of you going, like, what was the moment, if you remember, that really started triggering you going, you know what, I think I want to open my own business. And what was that time frame, and how did that escalate? How did you then start? I mean, I know at some point you found, our content, but how did you go from just idea to like, oh wow, now I'm talking to a couple of franchises and I may actually do this thing?
I can tell you the one thing that kind of pushed me was a lot of motivational. I would read motivational books. I would read, I'd be on YouTube, and there's a lot of great people I watch as far as gives you that little motivational kick. Eric Thomas is a great guy. Myron Golden is also a really good guy. These are all, I watch these constantly to push me. So I was telling you that I worked at the bank, but I was working for franchisings. But what kind of pushed it is these people were just like me that I was talking to. They were in their corporate jobs making X amount of dollars. They wasn't rich by any means, but they had the means and the will to want to open their own business. And I was watching it as they're opening up these trash haul business, these large businesses. And it's like, I don't want to call anybody out, but it's people that had like less than, 70,000 total liquidity and things like that. People that would still qualify for a loan though. So the way I look at it is like, hey, they're just like me. They're not superstars. Everybody had to start somewhere. A lot of people in life, they start off with trying to look at people's chapter 9 in the book, and they're in chapter 1. I didn't want to compare myself. I was like, look, they did it. I'm comparing myself to their chapter 1, and the way they did it, I think I can do that too. And that's when I got on YouTube and said, I started out with what is franchising, and then I started out with how to franchise, and then building a team. And like, I just continued every day on the path of watching something new before I was like, I'm ready. Let's go. That's when I picked up the phone, got with, Tark and his team. And that's when I started to go to conferences. I went to like 3 different conferences for franchises before I chose one. I got their brochures. I talked to the people. I shook hands. I asked them what their bottom line is. Can they send me their FDDs? I had so many FDDs in my email. And I went over all of them just to get the best. And then, like I said, just like I did with hiring, I did it with franchise. I started with my 10, and your team sent me 10. Some was amazing ones. And I was like, okay, how am I going to choose? But I still had that excitement because I was like, okay, I'm a regular guy, but I can do this. I can be that business owner. And as long as I kept that in there and kept watching motivations, which I do to this day, I wake up to a motivation. It screams in my ear every morning at 6 a.m. like, wake up, you're going to be great. Let's get it. Let's go. And I wake up and I'm like, let's go be great. Let's do it. So I say a little prayer and that's it. I'm ready to go. And I know as long as I keep that energy from this point all the way to my chapter 9, then I'm going to excel. But I also know I'm going to help people in their chapter 1s and their chapter 2s come up here too. Like, look, this is how I did it, y'all. You're regulars just like I am. You can do it. That's the message I try to spread across everybody. And just real quick, when we was at training last week, they were having a discovery day. So Voda, being the smart company they are, they want the owners to bump into the discovery day people. I was excited. I was excited to talk to them. And then, of course, they asked me how much you're making and blah, blah, blah. But I gave them the real, and I was like, how passionate are you about being a business owner? Everybody says, oh, I'm going to do anything it takes. Okay, well, what does anything mean? Have you thought about what anything means yet? So I was really asking them, but also telling them, like, here is my number. Just met you today. You may not choose Voda. But if you choose to go franchising and business owner, let's have a conversation. I still want to talk. So I got 3 of the Discovery Day people's numbers. And I told them, call me. If you need me, I don't care if it's about SBA funding. If it's about starting a franchise, what to do, call me. I don't have a lot of knowledge, but I can give you what I have up into the chapter I'm at right now. And they were really receptive of it. They was really appreciative of it.
Man, I love that. I just absolutely love the energy that you bring. Speaking of like validation and due diligence, and I love that what I'm hearing is that you were really thoughtful in the process. You did your homework, you did your due diligence. This wasn't just a ooh, I like this one, I'm going to go with this one, which is unfortunately how a lot of people wind up buying franchises, that they just find something or they experience it as a customer, they go buy it, and then a lot of times it doesn't work out because they didn't have a process, they didn't have a criteria, they just kind of were winging it. But as you were going through validation, which is talking to other franchisees in your due diligence, what sort of questions were you asking and were you trying to get the answers to?
I mean, well, of course, I was asking the money questions. How much can I make at what point in time? Of course, everybody wants to know that first, but YouTube is a huge tool. If you're not using Google's YouTube, if you're not using the internet to do your research, then you're not really going to do anything. I even YouTube what questions to ask at validation day. What should I talk about? I think you had a couple videos on, hey, validation days, here's what you do. I watched those. I wrote that down and said, here's what I'm going to ask because those questions made sense. I tried to ask every question that I heard, and they even said, like, we've never had anybody like this much. Like, and it's funny too, because when I went to training, it was our largest training yet. Everybody in that room knew me. They was like, they using me example, like, oh, we're glad you're here. They didn't know the rest of the owners out there. They knew a few names, but they knew me. Mainly because I've been calling them, talking to them. Hey, remember you told me this. You remember you said I can call anytime. Remember, that was me. So Voda knows me to this day, and they're going to always know me. And everybody else is going to know because, I validated. And I knew, A, they were going to tell me what I wanted to hear, but I was also going to follow up on what they told me. That was the process. That was just like, you can give me the good answers. I know you're recruiting me. This is like college recruiting. I don't know if there's a lot of athletes out there. You got recruited. The colleges, they wined and dined you. They gave make sure the cheerleaders were around, things like that. But when you signed on, oh wow, there wasn't nobody there. It was just a coach saying, go run laps, let's go. So Voda, they wined and dined during validation, and it was amazing. And I loved everything. We had steak dinners and all that. But I still ask the questions. One question I asked them that I was very serious about. I was like, I am going to, market myself as a proud black owned business. Will that be a problem within the network or your scope? Their question was immediately, absolutely not. We absolutely want you to do that. We beg that more people do that. I also said, okay, I also will want to, volunteer and be able to give back to my community. Would you guys be against that? They said, absolutely not. We want you to push your name and definitely give back as much as possible. So the things that matter to me is the true questions I needed to answer to. The FDD tells you everything else. I need to know if me going out here saying, hey, I'm a proud black owned business, I'm a proud black man, hey, I want to show up to your door of anybody, not just black or white, just know that I'm proud of who I am and I'm proud of my company, and I am going to give you the most pristine experience I can possibly do, regardless of what I look like. So I just love how they pushed it. They really pushed me to be great, and they continue to push me to be great because I asked that same question again in training. They said, hey, what questions do you? I asked the exact same question just to see what they were going to say, and again, immediate, yes, please do it right now. If you want to post on Instagram right now, we'll help you do it. Okay, all right. So I'm good with that.
Hey, so if you want to figure out if you should buy a franchise and learn the fastest and easiest way to figuring out the best franchise to buy and everything you need to know about the process, then you'll want to go get access to our Franchise Buyers Academy. In our Franchise Buyers Academy, you'll get a behind-the-scenes look into specific franchises and exactly how much money they are making. You'll get simple formulas for finding money-making franchises and a blueprint on how to scale them into a franchise empire that can be sold for a lot of money later on. You'll be able to finally answer the question on, should I buy a franchise? Now you can get access at franchiseempire.com/FBA. Now let's get back to the episode. That's fantastic. It brings up a good point, Farris, which is around culture. And I feel like I can't remember if it was you and I that had this conversation, but it's something that people don't really think about in the franchise buying process is it's like, they're thinking, okay, can I make money with the business? Does the business have the systems? Yes, all that stuff is important, but you've got to choose a brand that's the right culture for you, because there are some brands that probably wouldn't be okay or wouldn't love you being as vocal and out there as you are in a manner that's authentic to you. But then again, you found a brand that is right, and I part of that starts with the top with Dan. I know Dan. I'm friends with Dan, and he's all about expression and like being authentic, and it's such an important element. It's just like we've been hiring a lot, and one of the candidates actually turned out to be the one that we hired. He really wanted at the end of our interview, he really was probing me on our company culture. And not a lot of people, I had interviewed a lot of people, not a lot of people had asked really about that. And I think that's when you can really tell the difference between people when they start digging into what's the culture like, what's the environment like. It's such a key component, throughout the process. Farris, walk me through. Another question that someone from YouTube wanted to know was, and I know you're just starting, but over the last couple, I think you left your job a couple months ago. What has kind of been your average day in the life, average week in the life so far, in just getting to the point that you are now?
Whew, well, it's only actually been, I left in the 1st of February. So I just left my job. No, I take that back.
Oh, you just left.
It was a couple weeks before February 1st. I gave them my 2 weeks notice and told them my last day was going to be on the 1st. And I told them that 2 weeks prior. I wanted to quit gracefully. I wasn't going to quiet quit. They gave me, so gave them my 2 weeks. They came back and said, hey, Ferris, you know what? Go ahead and take the 2 weeks. We'll still pay you. Golden. So I've been getting paid for the last couple of weeks, and my last day was officially the 1st. But ever since that call, first off, I felt change breaking. That was beautiful. I was like, So, after running around my house yelling I'm free for about 5 minutes and annoying my dog and my wife, I got to work. I had to get to work. So I started to think of everybody I knew in the home services business. I don't care if you're a plumber, electrician. Because I do a lot of, and I'm sure you've seen, I tailgate too. So I co-host a tailgate every Sunday for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Go Bucks. But, I just networked with all those people I met at the tailgate and all the people I met around Tampa. I've only been here for 5 years. So I've been pulling every contact, setting up lunches. Hey, what you doing tomorrow? I'll come to you. Let's have a lunch. Let's talk how I can help you, how you can help me. Hey, I'm going to shoot you this referral. Can we start a referral business? So I've been doing that every day. And it's been nonstop. I've been setting up meetings. I went to Vegas 2 or 3 weeks ago, for the Nexus 2025 event. So it was a big Vegas convention for restoration, for water, for all of that. I went to that. I didn't even have my business started yet. I just went there because I wanted to talk to the people that were in the industry and that were experts of the industry and get their information. I have called every one of them. Hey, I'm in Tampa. Can you give me a rep for, like a Ramsco is one of the vendors, and John Don is another equipment water vendor. Who's your rep in Tampa? I would like to connect with them now. It's not hey, can you give me a call a week? No, I need to know who your rep is now because I want to call on Monday. And that's what I've been doing every day as I build up to this opening. Of course, I hired my ops manager, and he's been helping me look for water techs and hire next. But it's been me and him just going at it every day. Like right now, we have a call every morning at 8 a.m. just to go over our day. Right now, I ain't got much to give him. He's getting paid, but still, I told him, you came from this world. Reach out to your people this week, Monday, Tuesday. Reach out to your people and connect with them. Say, hey, I'm in the restoration business again. This is what I'm doing. Reach out to Farris. Reach out to me. Like, I got him out there marketing, door hangers, things like that. So thank God our van's here. So now he can start doing some work. It's about time to get off the couch, Darrell. But it's been great, man. The process of building to this point has just been over the moon. Like, I am ecstatic, if you can't tell, but I'm just ready to get going. This is just my dream. all you see is just rainbows and sunshine. You know it's not going to be that way, but it's my dream, and I get to live in it, and it's amazing.
Man, I absolutely love it. Yeah, and what's interesting and what I'm hearing is that you've been planting seeds, and a lot of business is planting seeds and nurturing those seeds. And it's like you plant a seed, don't expect for it to yield fruit or a harvest, the next day. But those things add and stack up. And I remember kind of doing something similar when we were opening our first location, but we had 2 years. We didn't open up a service business. It was a retail location where the shopping center had to be built. But during that time, I was posting in community Facebook groups, and I was just doing stuff to try to start, getting the word out. And that wind up contributing to us getting profitable in just 2 months, because there was literally a couple of years of kind of planting seeds, but before then. um Ferris, I'm curious. You came through our, the system, the zero to profitable franchise system, and joined that. I'm curious what was the impact of that for you, and what was most helpful? I mean, obviously you worked with our brokerage team. There was the online modules, the group calls. What was most helpful for you specifically, and how did that kind of impact your process?
I think the thing that made it most impactful that what you guys did is made it simple. You didn't throw a bunch of stuff at us, and you actually broke it down to, let's start here. Let's start with your education. Let's start with your profile just to see what kind of business owner you were. Is it the Zorkel? I believe it was the Zorkel idea that I did with you guys. That gave me confidence. I think it compared me to who's the Starbucks CEO? Richard Branson. I was like, oh, this is amazing. They're gonna think I'm this big, and so that gave me confidence. It may be something small, but I read through that and I equated it to myself. I showed it to my wife, like, is this me? And she was like, yeah, that's pretty much you. And so, that process right there, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I am more special than I thought I was. You guys gave me the confidence to keep going. I had already made the decision, of course, because I reached out to start a franchise, but y'all gave me that push in that direction. Again, there's 4,000 franchises out there, and y'all guys said, okay, well, let's see what kind of person you are first. Then we'll match you with somebody that will fit your personality. And you guys did an amazing job at that. Voda fits my personality exactly, as I would have imagined it when I chose them. I mean, they have been instrumental into, making sure I'm successful. But you guys who gave me the original playbook, and you guys gave me the question to ask when I went to validation. And you guys told me, when you pick a franchise, here's who you talk to, here's who you call. And you guys also said, anytime you need me, I'll pick up the phone. And they did. So that was huge for me. It was just, you can get overwhelmed in this. Like, franchise ownership, it's nothing, it ain't no walk in the park. If I can tell you, like, the amount of emails I've answered, the calls I've had to take, and it's overwhelming. But all I just kept doing is, this is your dream. Calm yourself down. This is your dream. And take it in sections. Why are you worrying about opening day when you haven't signed your agreement yet? Why are you worrying about what you're going to make on day one when you haven't did more than 2 validation calls? I need you to break it up and do these minimal tasks to keep building that pyramid, per se, with that bricks that you're giving. You guys gave me that bricks, that foundation to start building that pyramid. And now with Voda, still with you guys, of course, because you guys are success coaches for me now. So, and that was invaluable. And that's why I was quick to sign on when you said, hey, we got a program that keeps you going. I said, yes, let's keep going, because you gave me the value and you gave me the confidence that I needed to be able to move forward and sign that agreement. Because that's a long agreement that you have to sign. And let's be real, that's 10 years of your life that you're offering up. You better be sure about this. And if you're not sure about it, take a step back. It's okay to be on the timeline that you put yourself on. Don't rush your next 10 years. That makes zero sense. Worry about tomorrow.
100. Yeah. Yeah. That's such a great point. That's a really, really profound point, because we do have people that they start worrying about things that really don't need to be worried about yet. and they're getting ahead of themselves, and I get it because they're trying to think ahead and plan ahead, which is a good characteristic. But there can be times where it's like, okay, let's cross that bridge once we get there. So I appreciate that you made that point because it is very relevant. Like focus on the step that you're at, and then once we get to the next step, we can kind of handle it from there. And yeah, you and I get to connect every single week now, every Monday, because you are a part of that very intimate group of franchisees that we have, where we huddle and have weekly accountability on what we're gonna focus on and hit on in our business for that week, and just to keep things on track. So cool, man. Farris, what just while we wrap, what what piece of advice would you give to someone who's out there thinking, I think I want to start a business. I think I may be wanting to kind of go this franchise route. I'm just kind of beginning on the journey. What's your single piece of advice that you want to give them?
Um, it's okay to be scared. That's that's going to be a natural feeling. It's okay to be scared, but the way that you can overcome fear is knowing what's coming up. And the way I did that was being on YouTube, getting on the validation calls, talking to other franchise owners, talking to other people who are thinking about it. They're all scared. They all have been scared, but they'll tell you, here's what you need to do to get over the hump into the next place. Don't let your fear stop you. I was in the corporate world for a long time, and a lot of that was driven by fear of doing it by myself. I was comfortable with people paying me every 2 weeks, and I was fearful to step outside and say, hey, I think I'm smart enough I can do this. If I could have gave my younger self that advice, stop being scared and just do it, because it will pay off in the end. If you put everything into it, you're all into what you want to do, you will not fail. Don't be scared of this. It's nothing to be scared of. It's just another day. It's another business, and all it is it's your business. Run it how you feel. Run it from your heart. Run it from your soul. And don't let that fear creep back up on you. Push it back every time, because that fear will halt you, and you're going to end up in a place that you don't want to be in life, and you're going to look back and say, what if I would have? Don't live with those what ifs. Don't. That fear is no. Get rid of that.
Man, that's pure gold. Yeah, fear can be paralyzing. Use it to your advantage. I know for me personally, I use the fear as a motivator to work really, really hard, because I was so scared that I just used it to outwork my fear. And that that helps. Playing scared can be a good thing as long as you keep going. Last question, and kind of a little bit of a shameless plug, but what for someone who is considering working with us at Franchise Empire, the zero to profitable franchise system, what would you tell them? What would you say?
If you're going to do it 100%. I mean, because you guys are offering advice that a lot of people wouldn't. But if you don't really pull yourself up and ask the questions that need to be asked, or do the calendar events, or do the things that you guys advise. Like I literally, when we have those calls, I have my buffer day. I have my me day. I have my work. Like I write those down, and I've made sure because of you guys that I was going to continue to do that, because that's something that's going to help me be profitable. These are just little gold nuggets that you're supposed to take when somebody's willing to offer them to you. So anybody that's want to be a part of the program, they are giving you the nuggets that you need to succeed. And even though I'm not open officially yet, I am more than prepared to hit the ground running, just because of the knowledge I've been given and the utilization of my time that, you've been given to open it up to focus on my business. So, I definitely think that if somebody is teeter-tottering with being a part of that, if you're not ready to give your 100%, it's not really worth it, because your 100% It has to match their 100% or it won't work.
I love that. So good, man. All right, Farris, I got to rock and roll, man. It was so good. It's still good talking to you. Thanks for taking time out of your day. I know it's crazy for you this week, but I appreciate it. I know the audience will appreciate it, and man, I just really love the energy you bring to just everything that you do, and I feel very confident that in your success for sure.
All right, I appreciate you, man, and I know you're going to put the links and everything like that. But if you want carpet cleaning, we do chairs, we do grout, we do mold, we do floors, we do whatever you need to make your house clean. So go to Voda.com, my fault. It's myvoda.com /Tampa Bay/East. DM me. I'll be ready to come into your house and clean everything you need. All right.
I love it, man. I love it. Hey, before we go, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please subscribe here on YouTube if you haven't already. And the biggest thank you that you could ever give me is to share this episode with someone who you think will benefit. That means that we can share this message with more people and hopefully positively inspire them like we have you. So thank you. And until next time, go build your empire.